Ah! Ah! That's a monster. Mackenzie Mountain, Gulf King right there.
Freaking out. I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. Woo!
You know, I have to admit, a year ago I wouldn't have been able to find Raspberry Island on a map. We left Missoula, Montana at 7:05 this morning. 4 flights to get here. The planes keep getting smaller, but the anticipation keeps getting bigger. But then I used the Magnum Hunt Club's tag draw service. Pretty soon I had drawn the most coveted elk tag in Alaska. Pretty cool though when you can be on Raspberry Island by supper time. So, not a bad travel at all.
This week the zone is all about deer and elk. First, we're going with one of our whitetail specialists, Jeff James, on an Iowa hunt. And then James, you'll be taking us on an elk hunt.
That's right, Tim. And this one is different. This is not an elk hunt in my own backyard for Rocky Mountain elk. This is a Roosevelt elk on a do-it-yourself hunt on an island in Alaska.
Now that is a big adventure.
We've got the camera set, ready to go, watching this grape and all these trails and rubs. And here's our stand right over here. Perfect for a south wind, which we're gonna probably have. Great natural fall here. And I think bucks are gonna be cruising down through here, just this side of all these cedars. There's a ring of scrapes around the top of this little cedar knoll here. And there's rubs all up through here, all down, and there's rubs everywhere. This place is littered with trails. It's a perfect setup. The wind's good for us. The wind's out and blowing right across us. And the deer in here checking these graves and working. I heard something. That's a monster. Give me some. Oh, that's a big monster bone right there, baby. I can see the blood. I don't know where it went. Right here. Great big owl bruiser right there, boys. one of the best setups I've ever hunted, and just constant action. That's bow hunting in Iowa. That's why it's so coveted for the serious archers that are really on the quest for big whitetail bucks. This state's got them, and when you get in the right place in Iowa, it's non-stop action in November. It's just nothing like it.
The Zone is brought to you by Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools. Thompson Center, Nikon, Blackhorn 209, Gallery of Guns, Under Armour, Real Avid, Firefly, Lethal Human Scent Elimination, and Bill Jordan's Real Tree. Family, friends, and the outdoors.
That's a monster. We had some good times this week in Iowa, chasing these good times, and we finally got to put our hands on these. And these are good times right here. Gotta love Iowa.
Now, Tim, we all know that whitetail hunting speaks to just about every hunter out there. And like Jeff, a lot of us spend the better part of our fall chasing them. And of course, it just doesn't get any better than bow hunting Iowa.
That's right, and that was a great buck, but I'm dying to see that big adventure elk hunt you were talking about earlier.
You know, even though this was a total do-it-yourself adventure and we didn't have any guides whatsoever, we knew we had to live somewhere. And, you know, I wasn't terribly interested in living on this little island with brown bears running everywhere. And we found some fishing lodges. This is the one we chose, Raspberry Island Remote Lodge.
Most of our guests come in the summertime and enjoy the fishing and hiking and kayaking and bear viewing.
And they've got all the amenities you could ever want. They got hot tub, they got fabulous food, great accommodations. You know, even though it was a do-it-yourself, we were well taken care of, and great place even for a big game hunter to use these fishing lodges as a base camp. Transport boats take you out, drop you off, and you can do your own thing if you got the guts to do it. You know, it's no wonder why they released Roosevelt Elk on Raspberry Island in the late 20s. It really has a Pacific Northwest feel. They get 74 inches of rain a year, and you know, the negative to that is it grows a lot of what all of us hunters just absolutely love. Alpine spruce, scrub alder, and devil's club to wade through.
You know, the elk are really good at surviving. They like to stay a long ways away from the beach, which is where you have to start and end all of your hunts. And of course, you're right in the middle of wild brown bear country. You know, they're all over this island.
You know, Alaska has always been known for being, you know, a state that just really dishes it out to you in conditions, whether it's weather or the terrain. Well, we just got dropped off this morning on Raspberry Island by a transport boat. We're on a totally unguided hunt here, do it yourself. And there's a little less than 100 Roosevelt elk on this island. They were let go here in the late 20s. And it's our job this week to find them in 5 days. And our first day is kicking on us pretty good. Right away we got sideways wind, and it's supposed to come and go like that all day long. Day one, haven't seen an animal yet, seen a lot of bear tracks and bear scats, so I have a feeling we'll be bumping into some of them.
General rule of thumb, from the top of the mountain, if it looks a foot tall, it's 3. If it looks 3, it's 8 or 10.
It's daunting. It's kind of an overwhelming feeling. You're going through new country that you don't know. You're looking for animals you haven't seen. You know they exist somewhere, but it's a big task, and it's a big adventure. You've got brown bears to worry about. You know, you've got steep, slippery country to navigate. You need to get back to the beach every night. It is a real adventure. But as this week progressed, I mean, we had no idea just how much of an adventure we were in for.
This portion of the Zone is brought to you by Gobble and Grunt Outfitters.
This is a deer hunting morning.
16 below and lots of snow.
This portion of the zone is brought to you by Thermacell. Stand up to the cold.
This morning, a transport boat dropped us off on the beach down there. For 2 solid hours, we've been climbing straight up, looking at the side of the mountain and our knees. Ground about as steep as dirt will grow grass. 1,500 vertical feet right up here, about 100 yards. We get on a ridge. It takes us as far on this island as we want to travel in a day. And that's what we got to do. Get up high, look at open country, till we find the herd. Boy, just about time we got to the saddle, we heard this roar over the hill. And, you know, we'd been on the lee side of it up till then. Boy, when we peeked over, it was like a whole nother planet on the other side of that ridge. And studied the herd for quite a while. I could see a pretty decent animal, but then off in the grass, I could see one that really looked like he'd be a shooter. I really wanted to get a closer look at that bull. There's maybe 60, 80 animals down in this low bottom. Have no idea how we're gonna get on them, but one thing's for sure, we're gonna get out of this wind, we're gonna head down a little bit, try to find some kind of cover. We're on final stalk on a herd of Roosevelt elk. 500-600 yards in front of us. Time to dump the pack, get my shooting sticks, and get rid of these rain pants. I peeked through the bush and I could see that the animals were still there, bedded, had no idea we were there. You know, from 2 miles off, these things looked pretty big. From 250 yards, they looked even bigger. All right, our bull is right here, right side of the herd. We're just gonna have to belly up here and set up on the sticks through that gap, I suppose. That's a good bull. These are Roosevelt elk. Their bodies are a third larger than our Rockies. Their horns are a third smaller than our Rockies. I mean, the cows would stand up, and those cows are as big as the bulls we typically hunt in Montana. There were several bulls in the herd. There was a nice 5-point that was bedded kind of on the left side of the bunch, but I just didn't think that was a herd bull. I kept looking and looking. Pretty soon, I spotted some horns sticking up out of the grass, and it appeared to be a 6x6. I needed to verify it. Come on, stand. Okay. All right, he's up. Pretty sure he's a 6. Yep, he's a 6. Roosevelt elk, baby. We've just done the impossible here on Raspberry Island. Day 2 of their gun season, I drew the only non-resident bull tag, and we got the herd bull. But I had no idea of the sheer massiveness of this animal until we walked up on it. We shot the biggest one on the island, and there he is. I mean, when you're seeing this thing, this obviously is no Rocky Mountain elk. Their horns are 30% less than a Rocky, and their bodies are 30% more. So when you're looking at these horns, they are deceivingly large because you're putting them on a huge body. Broke a couple times, but they're just massive. Can't even get my hand around it in the second position. Look at that. Little did we know, this adventure was just about to begin.
Closed captioning provided by Bog Pod, the sticks with the red grips.
Whatever you're hunting, hunt the wind with Firefly, the electronic wind detector.
If I was watching that on TV, there's 2 things that I'd want to know. First one being, what kind of a bullet can tank a 1,300-pound animal like that? And that was a 180 grain Accubon out of a 300 Win mag. trophy grade ammo. But the second thing I'd want to know is, how are we getting this thing out of the middle of this island? I don't know the answer to that yet. We'll just work at it a little bit as we go.
Little did we know, this adventure was just about to begin. You know, Raspberry Island has a pretty good population of brown bear, and that means one thing. You take care of your meat just a little bit different than you normally would, because you're not taking an animal like that out the same day you kill it. You're taking it out the following day. When we went in to pack out our animal, we were able to get a local fella, Cody Jacobson, who was a packer for us on this trip, to come along with us.
We're 1,000 yards off. We just put the scope on him. We can't find the carcass already. And I can see what appears to be a dug up spot, probably a cache, where he's either consumed and or buried our elk quarters and all the meat that we boned off that carcass.
Very likely.
Ha! Ah! We're gonna make a lot of noise going in here. Casey's down sitting in there because we don't want him sitting in the alders on us and surprising us. Hey, bear! Hey, bear!
Getting in there in a real bad situation and being able to make the best of what could have potentially been disaster was also a tremendous sense of accomplishment.
We got a big old grizz cache here. Okay, that's a serious bear doing all that quick.
You know, this is the kind of situation that, I mean, honestly, you hope you never see. You hear about it, you read about it, but those are just stories. I mean, this one was happening to us, and it was for real.
What we're doing here is trying to salvage edible portions, doing what we can. You hope this never happens, but sometimes it does. We're in the wilderness. There's big bears roaming at large, and one of them claimed our elk. Apparently it's gone now. Must have got a belly full and it's moved off somewhere. We were able to salvage 3 good quarters.
It still makes it a little bittersweet when you pack off the mountain and you've got your quarter on your back and you know you left some part of that animal to a bear.
Put some distance between us and the cache. Hey, bear!
But you know what? That's the country we hunt in, and bears are a part of that country.
Here's your bear, boys. Right there.
You know, I hunt for a lot of reasons, and trophies are down on the list. I hunt for the adventure, for the people, for the stories to tell and share.
James, I love to elk hunt, but that was like no elk hunt I've ever been on. And that was a real bummer that bear ended up with a bunch of your bull.
Yeah, it was a bunch of bull. In fact, I've had nightmares of a bear den in Alaska with my rack hanging right above the entrance. Anyway, be sure to find us on Facebook for great prize giveaways every single week.
And we'll see you next week right here in the zone.
The Zone is brought to you by the Ultra Rest, America's Rest, only from Quality Archery Designs. The Ghost Blind, one blind, total concealment, any environment. Buck Forage Premium Seed, intense research creates amazing result. Cobra's new Buckhead Archery Sights, choose your buck wisely. The Buck Bomb blows away traditional scents. Barnett Crossbows, scary light and scary fast, shooting over 400 feet per second. Brownells, Gobble and Grunt Outfitters, and the Magnum Hunt Club. Your adventure starts here.